friends. Hello, each and every one of you. I am so excited. It's the first technical stream here at MLH INIT. This is going to be super exciting. I know there's a ton of you in chat. Many of you will probably have questions. Let me just fix my lighting real quick. There we go. That's a bit better. And in just a second, I'm going to be able to look in chat, answer all your questions. But it is great to see each and every one of you here today. So before we jump into answering your questions in chat, chatting, and explaining what we're doing today, this is Create Your Own Starter Kit. And if you don't know what a starter kit is, MLH provides these nice little kits which make it a lot easier to jump into your hacks, whether that's a INIT or a hackathon. And these are things such as Python or, a Flash starter kit, for example, a Node.js starter kit. They've got all sorts of different ones, radar.io. And today we're going to be making our very own starter kit. And the idea is you can make this starter kit, package it up, and then give it to someone else to be able to go and use for their hacks. And so starter kit is a really good way of sharing the love and, just making it awesome for other people. Now, we're going to be making a fairly, basic starter kit today. We're going to be making a one designed for newbies. And so our starter kit is going to be focused on just a basic HTML, CSS, Bootstrap website. We might add some JavaScript in there as well. But in short, I just want to make it so anyone can jump in and make a website using our starter kit. Got people in chat saying hi to me. Hello to Sunder, Internet Hippo. Hello to this person, this person, this person, this person, this one too, and you, and you, and you. Oh my god, there are so many of you. But it is super happy. I'm super happy to see all of you here. Now, if this is your first time here at Local Hack Day or INIT, there's some things you might not know about. And the first one is the importance of checking in. So we're going to do that first. Been asking if I can see Facebook chat. I can see all the chats, friend. I've got I can see everything going on. You can't hide anything from me. I would say how I have eyes on the back of my head, but as you can see, my eyes are on the front of my head. And yes, the first thing we need to do is check in. And at the bottom of my screen is the link you need to check in. Well, it's somewhere, it's here, it's going off the screen, and then it's going to come back in a second. But the link you need, and that's going to be here for the rest of the stream, is hackp.ac/whatisastarterpack. If you don't know what a starter pack is, we're going to find out what it is. I'm really hoping that is the right link. It is for you. And yeah, we're going to be building a starter kit. So let me show you how to get started and checked in. So step one, if you've not already done it, and I'm going to presume since you're watching this on twitch.tv/MLH probably, you probably have already done this step. But in case you haven't, you're going to need to go and open Chrome. But, first of all, I need to show you my screen. So here is my screen. It's got my obviously real wallpaper. And I need to go and open Chrome. People are saying they want a shark. hackp.ac/blahage if you want to buy one. And if I go and just open a Chrome instance real quick. Bazinga. So I'm going to go to the link, which is hackp.ac/whatisastarterpack. That's the link at the bottom of my screen right now. And it's going to take you to a page that looks a little bit like this. You're going to see where it says INIT and all of that kind of stuff. This is the create a starter pack for someone else, page. And this is how we check in. And by checking in, we earn a point for ourselves on the leaderboard. And we also earn a point for our guild on the leaderboard. Adam is throwing it in chat. What an OG. And so the first thing I'm going to need to do, is go and click on this login or register button. If you don't already see that, you're already logged in. And you are probably already, logged in. But if you're not, hit this sign in button at the moment. If you have checked into anything for INIT already, or any MLH hackathon, you should already have an account here. And so if I hit sign in now, then I need to go log in. So I'm going to go log in using my email and my password, believe it or not. And just to make my life easier, let's keep me signed in. And then when I do this, it's going to take me to this page again. And when I click the register and check in button this time, it's going to say you are checked in. If you see that, you've already earned a point for yourself and for your guild. Look how easy that was. I just won a point. And I didn't have to do any work really at all. Super easy, super chill, no stress whatsoever. That was the easiest points I've ever earned, right? And you can get points this easily at every single live stream that is happening during INIT. Okay, once you've done that, you're ready to kind of jump into stuff. Do you have a question in chat? Do you have to join a guild? Joining a guild is optional, but as you might have seen on the starter card, we really encourage you to join a guild. Joining a guild gives you a really awesome community to, compete and have fun at INIT with. You know, I'm personally the guild leader for Blahaj Gang, but there's tons of awesome guilds. We've got Eddie Hub, ES Techies, DSC, there's loads of different ones. So take a look at the guilds in the Join My Guild channel on Discord, and that is where you can go and find it. Like a list of them. Where do you see your points? They update on the INIT website daily at init.mlh.io, and we're jumping very shortly into things, friends. But init.mlh.io, if you click this little hamburger menu, and then click leaderboard, then every single day at the leaderboard update, which Ryan and Mary do, it's about 12 noon, I think, every day, this will update. And when it updates, it's going to have all of like your scores, and you can type your name in here. But this only updates once a day, so you can't see your points immediately. And VJ's just put that link in chat. So cool, that's all the admin stuff out the way. Let's get on to building something and coding. And I am going to actually do something a bit sensible today. I want you to be able to use my starter pack after I've built with it. So I'm going to go on GitHub, and if you've not used GitHub before, GitHub is an awesome platform which lets you basically store code and share code in something called a repository. And the aim of today's session is we're going to build a starter pack which anyone could go and build with. So that is what we're doing today. And the best way of making it so anyone can use it is to make it so it is publicly accessible on the internet so anyone can use it. So I just really need to quickly go and get a code of 1Password to log in. Give me just a second. My username is JackBigin. Gonna throw my password in. Always, always, always use two-factor authentication. You know, two-factor authentication is a good thing. If you don't have it in your life, you should enable it for security reasons. And yeah, this could effectively act like a GitHub template, you know? Got people making a Spring Boot JavaScript. Spring Boot starter kit. That would be really, really cool. I think that's a really cool idea. You can do anything at all. You know, you can build, I don't know, like a Spring Boot one. Oh, this is the one with vocals. We don't want vocals. You won't be able to hear me. Rip. But yeah, you can build anything, whether it's, you know, involving Java, Python. You could make a starter kit which is React based. You could go and, you know, anything at all. You know, it's totally up to you, really. I'm going to just be doing a really, really basic one, just HTML and CSS. But hey, you can do your own. And what is a starter kit? So a starter kit is something people can use to get started with programming. So if I go to hack.mlh.io/learn, and I'll put this link in chat for you, do not worry. We can see some of MLH's starter kits here. And so if I want to just get started with Python, for example, I can clone this Git repo if I click get started. And then it's going to give me a project that looks like this. And this is already set up to work as a website powered by Python. And so it's really, really cool because it means that you are starting a new project at a hackathon. You don't have to go and set up everything to make a Python website work, a Flask website work. It's already set up for you, which is really, really cool. Sad Replit noises. You could totally make a website using Replit, like a starter kit using Replit. Flask scares me too, Adam. Do not worry. So yeah, I'm going to be building my own. And I'm going to go and make a new repository, because by making a new repository, people are going to be able to see the code I create. And I'm going to call it MLH HTML Starter Kit. Or MLH Bootstrap Starter Kit, let's call it. And you could call yours pretty much anything you want. And then in description, I'm going to put like, this is a super simple starter kit, which uses Bootstrap to create a website. Feel free to edit it. Bazinga, super easy, right? And then the other thing I'm gonna do here in GitHub is add a Readme file. Now I am gonna say, you know, don't worry about following along live with me. If you follow along live, you're gonna have some issues to follow along for the main reason of like, you know, I'm gonna be going pretty fast here. But you know, if you have questions, you're welcome. And one thing I'm also gonna tick is this choose a license button. And then I can use a license which lets anyone use it, such as the MIT license. That way, this says, hey, if you want to use my code, you are welcome to. Are you allowed to use these at a hackathon? Yep, you're absolutely allowed to use these at a hackathon. And yes, if you're seeing Ryan on the leaderboard, that's because Ryan went and set stuff up on the leaderboard earlier, which is why that. And so yeah, really good question if you're a bit kind of stuck. We download a zip file from GitHub and then upload to a new GitHub repository. So no, I'm just creating a GitHub repo here. You don't need to follow along live if you don't want to or you can't, so don't worry. Like, you're welcome to do your own thing. This is not necessarily a workshop. This is just me trying to go the challenge live. And basically, I've just created an empty GitHub repository. So normally, if you use one of these starter kits, so here's an example one, you would download this, you would build your hack, using this, and then you could go and submit your hack to the hackathon. And this is one which uses Flask, but I want to go and take a step back, and I want to create a starter pack to go and, let people get started with web development if they're totally new to it. And so that's what I'm doing here. I'm just creating a new one, and you should create a new one too, because you can earn points at INIT as well, because as well as getting the point for checking into this live stream, you get an extra point for submitting your starter pack you've made to DevPost. Which website are we making? Well, we're making a starter kit, so it's just a kind of blank placeholder one. You have no idea what's going on? That's the spirit of INIT, don't you worry. And how do we submit the starter kit to MLH? Really good question. The way to submit them is to go at the end to hackpack/init. And then this DevPost link, I believe, is where the starter pack ones are. Yep. And so you can submit to this DevPost link once you have built it. We'll be doing all of that live though, friends. So don't worry if this feels a bit overwhelming. I'm going to kind of walk you through all of this live. So I've now created a repository. I'm going to use a program called Gitkraken to go and clone my repository. And cloning just creates a copy of it locally. So it downloads it. And it means I can edit it from, my Mac and then upload changes or push changes to Git, which is awesome. Friends, I know there's lots of questions in chat. I promise I'll get to your questions. I just need to kind of keep the pace up here a bit. So I promise I'll get to them in just a second. And this is Gitkraken. It is a Git client. You don't have to use Gitkraken. I love it personally. And you can go and get Gitkraken for free in the GitHub Student Developer Pack. And I really, really recommend you do. You don't need to submit to both Google Form and DevPost, no, just DevPost for this. Really good question. Is Gitkraken better than GitHub Desktop? I personally prefer Gitkraken in terms of the UI and stuff. I find it easier to use. But honestly, it's personal preference. You can use whatever you want. You could some people prefer command line, to be honest. But for me, Gitkraken is kind of my go-to. And my repo is called MLH Bootstrap Starter Kit. Let's go clone this. And so now this is going to go and bring all my files, which is just my Readme file, to my Mac. Yeah, you can use Git, you can use Bash, command line, you can use GitHub Desktop. Doesn't really matter. People have different preferences. I personally like Gitkraken. Yeah, Honey prefers CLI, which is totally fair. A lot of people do, so they can script stuff with it. So if I now go and open VS Code, and VS Code, if you haven't used it, is a awesome little totally free, kind of IDE, code editor made by Microsoft. And then what I can do is I can open the folder which contains my repository on my Mac. So it is called MLH Bootstrap Starter Kit. And now, once this opens, you will see, there we go, that my readme.md file is also locally. So it's light, you can see it on the Git repo, but this is the editable version. And so if I make a change here, so I'm just going to change this, for example, and say, hey, this is an example repo. So if I save that change, and then using something like Gitkraken or a Git client, I go and push it, so I can stage the changes, and I can say, testing. I commit and then push it. It's going to upload my changes to GitHub, which is really, really cool. So if I now refresh the page, you can say, hey, this is an example repo. My changes now reflect in my repository. And that's why GitHub is awesome, because it means as I'm coding, I'm going to be able to push up changes for you to be able to see. It means that, as you're developing your kind of own starter packs, you can go and program them. And then when you want to share them with someone else, you can go and push it up to GitHub. And then that way, people can go and use it. And so I'm going to go and throw the link to my GitHub repository in chat for people who want it. And there you go. Apparently I'm really fast on my Mac. Full-time, I am a senior developer at one of Canada's banks. And so you get pretty good at just hotkeying stuff and knowing the workflow when you do it all day, every day. So that's kind of painful. Cool. So I have got a starter repository, and today we're going to be creating a Bootstrap starter pack. And how do you use Bootstrap? Well, I want to make this a really beginner-friendly Bootstrap kind of starter pack, so I'm not going to worry about, requiring NPM or anything, I'm going to be building a starter pack, which, goes and uses a CDN to pull in things. Which means that people are going to be able to go and use the starter pack, even if they don't have a proper local development environment set up. Which means, say you're developing on your phone, they'll be able to. Cool. So, the first thing, if I'm getting people into programming, and I want to kind of help them learn to code, we'll need to know about HTML first of all. And if you've never used HTML before, HTML is what powers web pages such as this. And index.html is the default page you'll go to. So if I do index.html here, just going to go and create a blank page, and then we can go and populate this with the Bootstrap stuff we need. Kingram has asked a question we've had a couple of times. What is a starter pack? A starter pack is a bunch of code which people can use to build their own project with. So it's not a project in itself. It doesn't necessarily do anything. It's not something you're going to go and release to the world or anything. But it's enough code to get started building your own thing. And they're really, really good for hackathons because it means that instead of having to go and set everything up yourself and make sure it works, a starter pack has everything already set up. Apparently use Notepad for coding. That's painful. Kim Bitley, which repo is this? I am pushing my changes to this repo, but it's just a blank one. What do you do after it? Well, you develop your own starter pack. You can do it however you wish. In this case, this is going to be a HTML starter pack. And so I need to make it so sufficiently large enough so you can see it. And I need to say this is a doc type of HTML. And the reason we do this, I think it's like that actually, is so your browser knows we're giving them HTML. Okay, next up, when is the Blahaj pack coming out? VJ, what do you think we're actually doing today? Like, you've just ruined the plot twist, friend. Cool, so I'm saying it's doc type HTML, and then when I'm building a page like this, there's a couple of things every website should have, and these include a couple of different things. And these include a head, not a header, a head, and a body. Now, the reason that we use a head and a body, a head contains metadata, and a body goes and contains the content of a web page that you see. And, as developers, we might not necessarily know what we need to include all the time. So I'm going to Google HTML head, and I'm going to see what I should be including in my head element. This is W3 Schools. It's pretty awesome. It gives you useful things to include. And we want to be teaching best practices here. So a best practice is to put your page title in the head. And so we can go and do this, and we can say title. And because this is a starter pack for someone else, I'm going to go and put like a thing saying, let's do an exclamation mark. Emoji. Exclaim. I can't spell today. Close enough. There we go. So we can put your website's name here so that they know to edit it, right? Yeah, don't mix up head and header. Super easy to do. And yeah, we're going to be filling this with lots of Lorem Ipsum. And now Curious Ricky asks a really good question for INIT. Who's going to check our starter pack if it's accurate? So we're not going to worry too much about checking you're accurate. The entire point of INIT is to give yourself a chance to try some new technologies, give them a go. We don't mind if your starter pack is not 100% correct. We just care about you've given it a go, tried to build something. That's the spirit of INIT. And the way that I do the emoji pop-up is I'm on a Mac and I press function and that pops it up. Do you want to demo these? I have no idea what they are, friend. So cool, I've included a title. I also need to include a link, a style sheet. Well, Bootstrap comes with style sheets, so let's go and copy theirs in. But we're going to want to add another one in later. So come back to this. HTML plus tab. Oh, it's kind of nice. And once I've done that, is there anything else? Well, let's go and use actual best practices. So what people don't necessarily realize is that you should also, if you're building a HTML web page, include metadata. And I think we should go and break that kind of situation and we should go and include some. So let's go and include the metadata that people really should be including. Dooba-dooba-doo. A starter pack is basically a template for programming. It absolutely is. Really good question, actually, says Slow. What is Bootstrap? I should have introduced it. So Bootstrap is what powers Twitter. So if I go on Twitter, that's not Twitter, that's my Twitch. Twitter.com/JackBiggin. And Twitter has lots of different things on this. It has, these elements which contain images. It has these profile picture elements. It has these columns, these buttons, this follow button, this search kind of things, this Navbar at the top. And Bootstrap powers Twitter. And it lays out what this page looks like. And that is why Bootstrap is awesome, because rather than us having to go and build everything from scratch, we can use Bootstrap, and Bootstrap is amazing because it already has everything set up. So we don't need to worry, how do I build a column? Bootstrap will go and include the code to build columns for you, which is really, really cool. And that is why we love Bootstrap. If I go and show you on the docs, it has things for layout and grids and all of that kind of stuff. But it also goes and contains useful things such as these alerts. Building these yourself would be kind of difficult, right? These accordions, imagine having to build something where you click it and it expands and it contains more info. That would be really difficult if we were building that from scratch. It would take a while. But if we go and use Bootstrap, it's just this code. And so we could just copy paste that and it would work as long as our project is set up for Bootstrap. If you're confused about submitting to dev posts, we'll be submitting at the end of the stream, so do not worry. I can show you then. And okay, so I'm creating my starter kit. I've got my kind of CSS. I've got my title. And I remember on W Free Schools, it says I should go and include some metadata. So let's go and do that now. So the metadata it wants me to include is the char set. And this is basically how your code is encoded. And this is useful because it means that it's a lot easier for browsers to understand it. Now, I can guarantee most of you, even if you've developed a website before, will not have gone and included this. And that is why we're including it today. We're trying to include best practices that people should be including. And so, keywords, for example, most people who ever build a website at a hackathon aren't going to include keywords. And these keywords are really useful because they make it easier for search engines to go and understand your code. So let's go and make it so people know to go and put their keywords here. So put your keywords here, e.g. Lahaj, Brian, MLH. Obviously your website might be about different things, but it's really important to highlight it. Hey friend, how are you? And what we're gonna go and do next is we're gonna include the description. And every time I'm putting one of these exclamation mark emojis, the idea is whoever goes and uses our starter kit will know, hey, this is somewhere I need to edit for my website to work. So we could do type a description about your website here. A couple of sentences is fine. This is what we're trying to do. We're trying to teach these best practices. We also want to go and include the author and all of that kind of stuff. Now VJ is saying, hey, we want to teach people well. We want to explain what these exclamation points are for. And what we're going to do is we're going to go and build this out. And then I'm going to show you how to write a good README for a starter kit. And we're going to write a README that explains, here's how you set it up. But also this is, what an exclamation mark means. It's something that you need to change. So I got you, VJ, don't you worry. For anyone who does want to follow along about the head section, I've just put the link in Twitch chat to the W Free Schools page I am looking at right now. So cool, let's go and include the author. And it says, hey, this is the person who created my webpage. And in this case, it's going to be content equals. I'm going to tell people to put their name there because it's going to be their own website. Oh, really good question. What is the href link? So we're going to come to this in a second, but this is how we connect to a CSS file. And in short, it's what allows us to go and include Bootstrap's code. And by that, what I mean is it includes what lays out Bootstrap. So how Bootstrap makes things look is a bit different to default HTML. It includes tons of extra stuff, and this is what makes it work. Wikinites asks, is this being recorded? It is. It will be on twitch.tv/MLH, so right here as a VOD. And the Bootstrap link is, yeah, that's the Bootstrap link. It includes Bootstrap CSS, so it means we can use Bootstrap's custom styles effectively, which is why it's really, really awesome. Okay, what else did W3 Schools want me to include? We don't want to refresh a document every 30 seconds. I do want to go instead of viewport though, so that we're going to go and manually set things. And we're going to go and explain what this is in a second. Please include responsive meta. I just did. It's here, friend, isn't it? I think this is what we need. And I'm fairly sure this default will work on Bootstrap, but we'll have to double check if it's not. And that is the main stuff we need. So that's pretty awesome. There's all sorts of different stuff we could be including, but I think this is a good start. The one other thing I want to be able to do though is so that people can include their own CSS on the page. It's really important that we give them the ability to do that. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to go and create a file, a folder even, called assets. I'm going to call this folder CSS. And then inside of CSS, I'm going to make a folder called styles.css. And this is a place where people can put their own CSS styles. So hey, Blahaj, how do you think this is going? Do you think we're managing to do an okay job? Well, psych, I'm not going to get that Blahaj to answer. I'm going to get this Blahaj to answer. Blahaj, do you think this is going well? He said yes. You just don't speak shark. You can't hear him. Thanks, Blahaj. Sorry you're on the floor. You'll be back up soon, I promise. And also, I'm curious, what guild are you all in for local hack day? Let me know in chat. Like, which guild are you kind of chilling in? Do you have, like, an amazing guild you're already happy with? Are you looking for a new one? Not biased at all. Yeah, I'm curious. Let me know in chat which guild you are in. I know there's a lot of Blahaj gangers here today. And, yeah, you're all crazy. I love you so much. And in this styles.css, let's go and explain, you know, this is where you'll write your CSS. CSS is how you style your web page, such as setting colors, changing the width and height of things, and beyond. The project also includes Bootstrap's CSS, so you can use that without typing it in here. And cool. So when we're building a starter pack, it's really, really important that we go and explain, you know, what we're doing. You know, this is a teaching tool really for people. And so if we are including files that are unclear, we need to explain, hey, this is what it is. And so now let's include that CSS. So we're going to do link href equals, and we'll get it from my assets, CSS, styles.css. Autocomplete got me. And then I'm going to put a comment afterwards, and I'm going to say, you can edit this file and include your own styles. Zinga! Super, super easy. You've got DSC in chat. We've got tons of people. Adam's asking, how many times am I going to go close to the mic and kill headphone users? Do you mean like this, Adam? Didn't take long. Cool. So we've got our website set up. Let's go and check Bootstrap's documentation. Is there anything else Bootstrap wants us to include on our page? I'm going to guess probably yes. Plus stop my ears. I'm sorry, friends. So Bootstrap also needs to include the JavaScript. Let's go grab all of that. People are being like, thanks for that. Hey, Adam asked for it. Please direct your complaints to Adam if you did not like that. Jokes on you, I wasn't wearing headphones. I mean, you were wearing headphones? You should be. You know, this is what AirPods are for, right? See, it's a really bad story. I exclusively bought AirPods Pros just so I could do live streaming so you couldn't see the wire. Like, it's really not good, but hey. Jack with the AirPods flex. I got them $120 off, actually. I'm quite proud of myself. Cool. So we want to go and include the, in our body, this. And this is not really understandable, so let's go and explain what this is. So this is Bootstrap's JavaScript. It's including it is what makes our website's interactive stuff work. So we want to go and explain it. If you just been like, Jack, so excuse me. I don't just have an electric toothbrush. I have a Bluetooth connected electric toothbrush. Thank you very much. It syncs the amount of times you brush your teeth a day. You earn points and you can redeem those points for Amazon gift cards. I am not joking. I wish I was sponsored by them. So I do have an affiliate link actually. They're great. Also, I have a small Haj. Yes, mobile Haj is what we all need. I agree. So cool. This is Bootstrap JavaScript. And let's actually go and explain a bit more. As a starter pack, we need to explain what things do so newbies to programming can understand it. So let's explain, hey, this is your page's title. It's what is shown on Google and in the tab at the top of the screen. We really need to explain all of this. We can't presume people know when we're building a starter pack. Ezra, I'll go and put the affiliate link on Blahaj Gang. How does that sound? So next up, we need to go include a CSS, and we're going to say, hey, CSS is how we style our website. We're including a Bootstrap CSS file, as well as one you can edit and make your own. That's all we're doing. We're just explaining, hey, this is what this is for. This is why we're including it. And then finally, let's explain, hey, this is some metadata. It allows us, or what does metadata do? It allows us to specify useful things, such as keywords and your website description. After I'm done, can I show you how to use an open starter pack? Of course. This person's hamster just woke up in an adorable way. That is amazing. I have a hamster called Jellybean. He's my favorite hamster that I currently own in the world. He's amazing. CSS is a terror of backend. I mean, fair. Cool. So we've gone and built this. This is amazing. This is actually useful. We'll get the memes in there in a second, friends. Because now, if I go and open this file, so remember that I cloned it into my repos folder? So I open repos, and I go into my starter pack I made, this Bootstrap Starter Kit. If I open this index.html file in Chrome, it's just going to take me to a blank page, but if you look at our tab title, you might just be able to see that it says, put your website's name here. So hey, stuff is working. Really, really exciting. How much RAM does my Mac have? Running so many tabs and VS Code at the same time and streaming. It only has 8 gigs RAM, but it is one of those new M1 Macs, so it works really, really well. You shouldn't be hearing everything twice. Let me know if you are. You might have 2 tabs open. What's up, Ashwin? How are you doing? Hello to you too, friend. But yeah, M1 is great for dev, except if you're using Docker. Ironically, I work in OpenShift development normally, which means I need to use Docker. So, hey, it'd be like that. So let's go now lay out a super simple web page. So if I go and say like H1, and I say, this is an example website, and save it. If I now refresh this, you can see this is appearing, which is awesome. Why do I have 2 Twitch tabs open? Yeah, friend, don't have 2 Twitch tabs open. Yeah, M1 can have a lot of problems with M1 stuff. It's not, with dev stuff, it's not ideal. It works really well when it works. It also can run Minecraft and RuneScape at really good FPS. So, just saying. But hey, friends. So cool, we've got a basic website set up, but if I'm like building a hackathon project, I don't just want it to go and display a really basic website. I want to have the stuff I likely need there and ready to go. And so, let's think for a second. If I open JS Paint, let's go and draw out what we want to build. Beautiful, this website. I love it so much. And, if we're building out a website, if my website is this big blob here, at a hackathon, I'm probably, first of all, going to want a navbar. Because that's, that's a pretty common thing to see on websites. I'm going to commit it in a second, friends, don't worry. And so this is going to be my navbar. So, like, my website. Ooh, whoops, that didn't work. And it's going to have, like, links on it. And then, like, another link. Bazinga, bazinga, bazinga. And that is awesome. This is called JS Paint, if anyone's ever used it. It is a terrible MS Paint thing on our website. And yeah, friends, I know like not every stream here at INIT is going to work for every time zone. Don't worry, you know, we're running ones in every single time zone, and you can see a full schedule at init.mlh.io. Cool, I'm going to go and, you know, share stuff shortly, don't worry. So I think the next thing it'd be useful to include on our website would be 2 columns. And these columns are going to be like, they're not going to actually appear on our website, but I'm going to lay them out here. And it's going to be like a main content under sidebar. And then inside of each of these, I think we should go and like, you know, show some example things. We'll come back to this in a second. We're going to work out kind of what we want beyond this. But let's work out, first of all, how do we lay out this website? And we want to be teaching people while we're doing this. Remember, we're not building this as a real project. We're building this as something someone can use to start their own project. And so we should go and include, like, hey, anything put in your body is visible on your website. Pretty awesome, right? Ashwin just saw a hack where the project is embedded in MS Paint. Incredible, incredible. I would love that. So Bootstrap, you know, if we want to include a navbar rather than building our own, well, Bootstrap actually has one built in. And so this is what we want to be including, right? We want to be including Bootstrap's navbar, which is, you know, pretty nice, and including it so people can go and use it. This is a super cool way to lay out our website, right? It is so awesome. And for someone who's asking, is there any extra points for watching a stream live? There is at the bottom of the screen. In fact, it's right here. It's going off the screen. It's going to be back in a second. hackme.ac/what is a starter pack is how you go and claim an extra point just for watching a stream, which is pretty awesome. Awesome sauce. So let's get back to kind of working stuff out. We want to go and include the Navbar code, and you know, we can copy paste this default code, but I feel like this initial copy paste is probably a little bit overwhelming for newbies. You know, look at it. There's a lot going on here. And I think it would be good if we could go, and the indentation is wrong. Like, it would be good if we could go and make this easier to understand. And that's what our job as people who are creating starter packs is to do. It is our job to make it as easy to understand as possible. You know, if something's entirely new to people, we want to be helping them out and lending them a hand so that they ultimately get something out of using our starter pack. So let's see if we can work out the easiest way to fix this. On our brand, well, let's look at Bootstrap. So we've got Navbar. So I think we should tell people, hey, put your website's name here. Your website's name. We should also, you know, make it so this goes to like the root of the website rather than just to like a different, like nothing. Yeah, add more comments. This is really, really, really good advice. You know, DSC is doing an ad in chat. Yeah, feel free to promote your golden chat as well, friends. Just don't get super spammy. And, you know, I think we want to keep things pretty simple. This is all quite complicated. So I don't think we need to really teach people how to include like forms or drop downs. I think we should just teach people how to include like very basic links. So if I now refresh my website, I already have a navbar at the top of my page. Wasn't that pretty simple? You know, we're building a starter kit for other people to use. But hey, now, you know, I just want to show you, you know, I'm not finished just yet, but let's just say adding what I have so far. And I'm going to go and commit this to GitHub so that if any of you are behind, you can have a go and see what I've already done. So I'm going to commit it. I'm going to push it using Gitkraken. And then if I go back to my repository, I give it a refresh. In here, you can see all the code I've written in a Git repo. And do you understand why this is awesome now? It means that we can go and share this Git repo to people and they don't have to worry about how do I get started. So I'm going to go and share this Git repo in chat again. Obviously, I'm not finished, but this is what I'm at so far. And then Nandan asks, how do I open it in the browser? So I'm using GitHub. GitHub is an awesome code sharing platform, uses Git repositories, and ultimately, you know, you can go and create an account on it. You can use something like Gitkraken, which lets you go and push code up to it, and it's really awesome. And Yogesh asks, so, you know, how can I build a starter pack that's different from others? Yeah, good question. You know, you want to probably find a technology which there isn't already a starter pack for. You know, you could make a Discord bot starter pack. You could make a starter pack for a Java app. You could make a Minecraft plugin starter pack, right? You could do something really, really different. It's up to you on what you build. In my case, I'm just building a really simple Bootstrap one. But I'm just showing you the basic structure. You can build whatever you want. Okay, so cool. I need to go and comment this. So let's go and explain, you know, this is your navbar. This is your navbar. It shows links at the top of the page. MS Paint Starter Pack is an awesome idea. It's a stream to be saved on YouTube. Yes, it is. Cool. So I want to kind of explain a bit more what this is, because this is a bit confusing. You know, I think like if you're looking at this, you're like, what is this code? And I'm going to explain like, hey, this is some Bootstrap magic. Let's go and add a magic sparkle emoji. It automatically minimizes your navbar on mobile, and this button lets you open it again. So another really cool thing about using Bootstrap, and why I think it's worth teaching people about it, is because if I go to my website and I make it small, you can see it will go, and instead of showing you a navbar and it falling off the page, it switches it automatically to like have the show and hide button you've probably seen on websites. Pretty awesome, right? This is why Bootstrap is awesome. And this is why building a starter pack so hackers can use it is a really good idea. Because it means that they're going to be able to go and dive straight into programming and build a responsive website as a new developer, even if they've never built one before. Right? Like people have been like, that's so cool. See, this is why I love Bootstrap. Yeah, it's some voodoo stuff. It's really, really cool. So let's go and say, hey. Let's do link 1. I'm going to link this just to like this homepage. Let's do link 2. And this is going to link to just slash again. We can go and like change this in a second. Really, really good thing is, how do we design the Bootstrap thing in our custom way? Yeah, really good question. Well, we can edit the CSS, and actually we're going to be teaching people a little bit about how to do that in this starter pack. But we need to get our basic starter pack laid out first. Bloomer's like, I wish I knew about this earlier. That is how I felt when I discovered Bootstrap. It changed my life. And another thing that Bootstrap we need to kind of handle is the fact that, you know, this text goes all the way out to the side of our website. You see? It's not great. It's not a great experience. And so Bootstrap has another really awesome feature called containers. And so I can do div class equals container. And then anything I put in my container automatically, be inward slightly, which is really, really cool. I'm going to go and put a line break here just to make it slightly less touchy. There we go. And you see this? It means it goes in automatically. And so as we're going and opening and closing, it will automatically adjust how much it should go and do it for us. And it'll automatically, Bootstrap will make it so the text gets a bit smaller if it's not going to fit, that kind of stuff. And that's why Bootstrap is really awesome. Container is a flex box to anyone who is a super advanced programmer. This is what I used to get an inspiration to start up the Bootstrap after completing HTML and CSS. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm really, really glad this is useful for you. Which challenge am I doing? I am currently having a go at the Create a Starter Pack challenge. And so, let's go make it so, let's explain this is a container. So we're gonna say, hey, this is a container. It automatically pushes your content in from the sides. And yeah, containers are awesome. You should definitely use them. Now, another thing we can do, and we should be teaching people, is how to use columns on Bootstrap. Because, you know, we don't really want to go and just have our website be one column. Having 2 columns is awesome. And if you remember, when we designed our website on JS Paint, which for Pride Month is called GayS Paint, which I love, you know, we've got 2 columns on this kind of thing we designed. And so let's go and have a go. I feel like this has gone from Build a Starter Kit to Jack teaching Bootstrap. Well, hey, at the end of the day, you know, building a starter pack is how you teach people things. And so while I'm building this, I'm going to be able to teach people how to use it at the same time. Faison says, how do you hack NASA with this? What you do is, you don't! It's pretty simple. If we follow along, create a starter pack, can we submit it for the challenge? You absolutely can. Wow, I got a bit of mic in my mouth there. Wow, that was an experience. Cool. So, let's go and add some columns. And, no, my ears again. Sorry, friends. So if I go on a Bootstrap website, we can go and take a look at how layout works on here. I'm going to go and share this in chat as well, so you've got it. Everyone's like, why again? Why do you do this to me? If you want the check-in link, the check-in link's at the bottom of my screen. It's going every so often. It's hackp.ac/what is a starter pack. So I'm just like, I love the fresh taste of Mike on an evening. Who doesn't love the fresh taste of Mike? It is beautiful. Mike is incredible. Mike is actually SwiftSwift's real name. Fun fact, if any of you didn't know. So here we go. We've got this container, and let's have a look. How do we do columns? Well, I'm thinking we should go and do a really simple column layout. We should do a 8 and a 4, because in Bootstrap, columns add up to 12. And that might sound a bit strange, but I'll explain how they work in practice in a second. Now, Bootstrap has changed how this works slightly since I last used it, because they've done an update. So I'm having to actually learn this live as well, which is really, really cool. So let's go and do, I believe, yes. So div class row, and this is going to say, hey, this is a new row. This is going to be where, things kind of start. And in that row, I want 2 columns. I want a column, which is our big main column, which is going to be 8 wide, because remember they add up to 6. So div class equals col 8, and we'll just put some dots. And then we can also do div class equals col 4. And then we'll put some dots in it, and we'll save it, and we'll refresh. And hopefully, fingers crossed, if I can find where I actually put the preview, here it is. We'll see. We have some dots, and these dots are super small. You might struggle to see them, but they are in a column. You've got one here, and then they're in the same row because you've got another one here. So these are automatically in columns, which is really, really awesome. Honey says, I feel like I shouldn't wear headphones, but it's helping me not sleep late at night. Hey, if you want me to shout in the mic again, honey, to keep you awake, I'm more than happy to. I know what you like. So, the thing is, as this website gets smaller, these are going to get smooshed. And so I want to introduce you to something called Lorem Ipsum. Lorem Ipsum is how we generate placeholder text to our website when we're developing, so we don't have to write things. It's pretty awesome. It just doesn't mean anything. It's all just in fake Latin. And this is going to go on for another hour and 10 minutes, curious. Now, we could do Lorem Ipsum, or we could do Lorem Bacon or Bacon Ipsum. I think that would be way funnier. So let's go and include some example text on our website. And this example text is going to include some kind of things here. So we're going to do paragraph. And I'm really curious to see the starter packs you will create, friends. You don't have to create a HTML one. Yours can be about anything. Let's go and get some other Lorem Ipsum things. We've got this one about Frankfurter. Amazing. And this gives us some basic HTML to kind of develop our page with, right? This is all just silly placeholder text. Doesn't mean anything, but this is a starter pack, remember? We don't need to go and include actual content. This is just for people to go and use to create their own content. People are doing really cool stuff. Sunder is going and creating a HTML one using Jacklyn. Jacklyn is really cool. I think you'll have a great time doing that. So now if I go and check my preview, you should see, hey, I've got 2 things. I've got this, and then I've got over here, I've got my little sidebar, which doesn't have anything in it yet. But you'll notice that these get really squished on mobile. So I'm gonna just give you a really easy example of how squish this gets on mobile. And I'm gonna go and just put some really, really silly kind of just placeholder, where I'm just going to say, hey, this is a sidebar, this is a sidebar. And this looks fine on this side, right? But if I make my screen smaller, it gets really, really squished. Your sidebar does. And the reason we go and use Bootstrap is because it makes making this responsive really, really easy. Because what we can do is we can say, by default, these are both 12 wide. So by default, 12 wide. But if this is on a medium screen or bigger, I want it to be 8 wide. Which means if this is on a medium screen, I want it to be 4 wide. Which means if I now refresh, looks the exact same as it did before. But if my screen size then gets small, it will automatically stack on top of each other, which is really cool. You ever had to try and build a responsive website? Yeah, it's already responsive without us doing anything. Isn't that awesome? Now I'm thinking, you know, this is probably not, like, it probably needs to actually only go not one on top of the other on a large screen. So let's go and change that to large. Yeah, see, this suddenly makes being like responsive and building mobile friendly websites so much easier, right? And this is why we're using Bootstrap to create our starter kit. We want to go and teach people best practices just like this. Okay, so on our example website, I think we should go and include some example galleries. So let's, first of all though, before we do, comment on what we've done so far. And so let's go and say, let's go and say, hey, this is an example 2-column layout. You know, you can go and it's responsive too. And then just like, these are placeholder paragraphs. And we probably want to tell people, hey, you want to go and edit these as well. You know, realistically, you're going to want to go and not necessarily just include Bacon Ipsum in your actual project. I mean, you could. Probably wouldn't be a great idea, but yes. Now, really good question. What is the difference between Bootstrap and React Strap? I think you mean React Bootstrap, I think. I'm just going to check. Yeah. So Bootstrap just works with HTML. You don't need anything else, just HTML and CSS and JavaScript. React Strap is for if you're building a React app. So it's like, it's React components for Bootstrap stuff. And Curious Wiki did ask a interesting question of, can I create one for GitHub Actions? Yeah, you can totally build a GitHub Actions one, whatever you want. Now build what you think is the best thing to build. You know, you could build, you know, a starter pack to build an IKEA website page to sell Blahage on. Is Tailwind similar? Yeah, it's kind of similar, slightly different methodology. Think of Tailwind and JavaScript, so Tailwind and Bootstrap as a smallhage to a Blahage, but the same thing, just achieved in different ways. Go back up there, friend. These are really awkward to fit through. There we go. Yeah, so Tailwind is like, it achieves a similar aim, but it works in a different way. I personally prefer Bootstrap. I find it less constraining, but other people entirely disagree with me on that. So, you know, you got to work out what's best for you. And I think another thing that people like to include in their websites are carousels. And I think it would be a really good idea if we could go and teach people, you know, this is an example Bootstrap Carousel. Because I'm sure you've all wanted to go and display multiple images on your website. And that's a bit difficult, you know, having them on a slideshow. But Bootstrap handles that for us. Pretty awesome, right? Instead of having to go and write the code ourselves, Bootstrap has it all ready to go. And this is why we're making a starter pack to include it, right? So let's go and copy their example code. And I think we should put our like slider, our carousel, our gallery above this paragraph text. And I hope you all can guess what the images on this are going to be. If you can't, I'm going to be very, very disappointed. You know, it's important stuff we're going to be including. Here's an example carousel. Oh, go away, Siri. I can't spell carousel. I definitely spelled that wrong. Let me just go and check how I actually spell this. This is how you spell carousel, friends. Totally not sharks. Yeah, totally not going to include sharks. Definitely would never include sharks. That'd be immature, wouldn't it? So here's an example of carousel. It displays multiple images, and you can include your own. So there we go. Yeah, Adam ran Pride Hacks earlier, and he is really proud that he won a Hackathon prize with a description of, you know, this description. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, we're gonna be including some sharks and watermelons, friends. That's what we're doing. I'm glad you managed to guess it. But I really need to quickly grab a drink. So I'm gonna be back in 2 minutes. I'm gonna quickly grab a drink and then we're gonna include it. So see you in just a second. And while I am away, I have a challenge for you. In chat, I want you to go and say what your favorite guild is and give me a 2 or 3 line pitch on why I should join your guild. I'll be back in 2 minutes for the rest of this stream. We're gonna be going for another hour. See you in just a second. Because I need a drink. My throat hurts. Thank you, friends. Apologies about that. My throat was about to go and I was like, I definitely need a drink. So I've got a drink. Don't worry, it's a liter. And 2 liters even, and I should be fine now. I'm not dead. It was great seeing all your different guilds. None of you have convinced me to leave Lahaj, gang. So yeah, let's keep going. Thank you, you're all awesome. And let's go and see what we should be including next. So, we're including our carousel. Let's go grab the content, from the Bootstrap website that we're gonna include. And I can go and get this from, I want with indicators, I think. This is probably a good one to teach people because it includes these indicators at the bottom and they're generally seen as being pretty good for accessibility, although they're a bit more hard for people to use. So I guess you should go and use this one because this is the easiest for people to edit. When you're building your starter packs, that's a really important thing to bear in mind, by the way. You know, is this easy for people to understand? You should use the easiest route for anything. And so, you know, if there's 2 different ways of doing it, an easy way and a hard way, you should really probably be teaching people how to use the easier way. Just because if you're a less confident coder, you know, it can be really difficult to try and understand and digest something a little bit more complicated, which is why, you know, we make sure this is as easy as possible. So I'm gonna go and put a thing in here. I'm gonna say, let's say exclamation mark. You know, you should go and include your own images in here. Like, that's what we want to be teaching, that kind of practice of including your own. So you should swap these to be your own images. Wow, you're saying if I left Blahaj Gang, you'd party in my absence? That's so mean. Apparently, Girls Who Hack is really amazing for bonding and girl power. Good girl power. Yes, absolutely. You know, it's really, really great actually to see like a guild focused on that kind of side of stuff. I think that's really important. So thank you for making that. Friendo, amazing, amazing guild. Awesome. So let's go and get some very basic stock photography. You can personally, like, I'm gonna say you can use any like photography you wish in your hack, in your starter pack even. I want to make sure we're including useful photography, and so I'm gonna use Pexels, sorry, Unsplash even, not Pexels today. And Unsplash is awesome because it allows you to get images which are entirely like royalty free. You can include them in your website without going and paying for them. But you may see a problem here. There's no results for Blahaj. So it's okay, we're just going to do generic shark themed ones. Kind of sad, but you know, we'll get through this. I'm gonna have a look at these. Tell me if you see a really, really awesome shark Blahaj. Or shark photo even, not shark Blahaj. What's a shark Blahaj? Ooh. You know, these are all so menacing. You know, it's so difficult to decide. I am thinking we could probably go for, this one looks kind of derpy, doesn't he? I think he would be a good one to include. So let's go and get this at a fairly sensible kind of medium size. And I also, once I've got 3 different photos, I'm going to make sure they're all the same dimensions, because otherwise our like carousel is going to behave weirdly. And we want people to be aware that, you know, everything's going to be okay, you know? There's no shark plushy ones. Yeah, we want to be like teaching. Beautiful. What an incredible photo. Also, there is currently a child wearing a shark costume in there. Incredible. Let me see if I can find one more. Let's include a melon photo. If Adam wants a melon one, I'm happy to include a melon photo. Here we go. There's some melons. So, what I'm now going to do, so we're teaching best practices, is I'm going to go and actually Photoshop these images to all be the same dimension. You don't have to use Photoshop, you can use Pixlr or like Paint or anything. And the reason I'm making them the same dimensions is so that the carousel doesn't randomly resize every time I like open the page or like change image. As you can see, I've got incredible photos just here. It's beautiful. This is Ryan Swift, in case anyone's not noticed. But yes, this is how we solve this problem, honey. We go and jump in and just make them all the same size. And I'm just going to use, make them 1080p. It's a pretty standard size. But I'm also going to be doing one thing you might not be aware of. So watch out when I do it. So let's get that first image. Let's throw it onto our already sized canvas. And once it is included. Was that the new mascot? Yeah, that's the new mascot. Yeah, you absolutely can make the carousel one size so it stays the same. The reason I'm not doing that mistress right now and I'm just doing it with images is, you know, that's a really good practice. But for newbies, that code can be a little bit difficult to understand. And so I'm trying to make it so the code we're including is as simple as possible. So here's our first image with some sharks. And I'm going to go in File, Export as PNG. But actually I'm going to hit Export as Web, even though it's a legacy thing. And here is something really important. If you're ever doing web dev, and if you're ever teaching people web dev, something that people often overlook is how important it is to compress images online. You know, you might have a super fast connection, but not everyone is going to. So let's go and save these as a JPEG, so that instead of being 1.5 megabytes, we're only going to be 42 kilobits, right? It's not going to work for graphics, but for photos, that is totally fine to do. And so, like, you know, call out there, you know, make sure you're all doing things the proper way if you're ever building a starter pack to go and teach someone something else. Otherwise, it's not going to be very easy to, like, understand as a new person. And inside of here, I'm going to go and make a new folder. And I'm going to call it Images. So we're going to do Assets and then Images. And then this is where we're going to save all our images included in our project. Ezra's like, for Corgi for Ryan's new mascot. It could be, it could be. Yeah, squoosh.app also works. There's tons of different things you can use to, you know, do it. It doesn't really matter which you use. I'm just using what I'm comfortable with. You know, if you're more familiar with like a different app, totally fine. I just have Photoshop open. I'm not saying go and like buy Photoshop so you can kind of do it. Like Photoshop licenses are expensive. I just need one for my job, so I have one anyway. Let's go save this one for web as well. Ryan sounds like we're cooking Ryan. Ryan does sound like we're cooking Ryan, doesn't it? Whoops, I forgot to hit save. File, export for web. Save. We're gonna call this Shark2. And then finally, we'll go and save the melon one as well. And these are all nice and compressed. You know, this melon one was an entirely different dimension. It's gonna make it the same size as the rest of them, so we're not gonna have really, really annoying like graphical glitches on our website. So let's do export, save for web. And then you'll see this one is like, you know, it's still 112 kilobits. It's not tiny, but it's a lot better than what it was before, which was like in the megabytes. So there we go. Yeah, you can totally use Canva for resizing. There's tons of different tools. You know, I'm just showing you one that I happen to quite like. You can use whatever you want here. And so now if I open VS Code, I should, in my images folder, have all of these images, which I can include. Now I did forget to save them as .jpeg, which was a bit of an oof. So let's go and fix that. Yes, there we go. We go add .jpeg on the end, so they actually are, you know, able to display on our website. Made a silly mistake by doing that. It happens though, you know, not the end of the world. My PC, after watching so many Windows, starter pack is not your thing. Hey, you know, I have to speedrun these. We get 2 hours to run one of these sessions live on stream. It's not a ton of time, right? Like, and that's why I'm having to go quite fast. You know, you've got as long as you need to build your starter pack. You know, while we are asking you to submit to dev post, you know, by noon tomorrow, I think it is, possibly the deadline, might be 11 a.m. EST. It actually, you know, you can keep developing your starter pack afterwards. You know, we're not judging what you create this weekend or this week in general. We just want to see your really, really cool creations. And that's the important thing, right? So let's go and now include this. And let's go say assets, images, Shark1. And then I'm going to actually specifically call out here that people should add alt text for accessibility reasons. Because, you know, we want to teach people, hey, it's best practices for you to go and add alt text here. And, you know, if you ever are building a website and your images don't have alt text, you should really take a look at how you can include it. It's really important to, if you don't include it, people who are like slightly blind, for example, or like have like accessibility needs, won't necessarily be able to use your website. And also in some places, it's required by law. So like you really, really should make sure you're doing that properly. There we go. So that is pretty good. And yeah, Netlify will not deploy without alt text. It'll be not very happy with you. So let's go and take a look at our website. Is our carousel working? It is. We have a carousel on our webpage. Look at this. And, you know, look how easy that was to write. You know, people are going to love it. Super, super cool. Super, super easy. And it magically works. Bazinga. And so this is what we're teaching. You know, we're teaching this is how you can do things for real. But I do want to kind of fix this little layout bug. You know, it touches. We don't really want it to touch. So let's go and write an example carousel kind of class that is going to go and change things. So in our styles.css, we can say, this is some example custom CSS. It automatically, it adds a blank line under the carousel. You know, we want to just explain that's what it says. I appreciate I probably just went and spelled carousel wrong, but it happens. Yeah, Bootstrap's awesome. And so we can just say, hey, .carousel, Bootstrap's kind of thing. Cool, I'm gonna copy paste that into here. So .carousel is going to have a margin bottom, which is just some CSS, of 1 EM. And so now, hopefully, fingers crossed. Ooh, why did that not work? Let's inspect element. Let's investigate what went wrong. Dooba-dooba-doo. I did something wrong there. What did I do? Let me just investigate, friends, and then I will tell you what I did terribly. I did something really stupid, but I'm not quite sure what. Interesting. That should have worked. So I want to get the carousel. And if I give this the margin bottom of 1, let me just check this. If I do margin bottom 1 EM. Okay. So this should work. I'll explain the deadlines, the challenges in a second, friend. Let me just debug this little problem. Because something is not behaving as it should be. If I do this, let me just debug. Debugging live on stream is always kind of stressful. I'm not a fan of it, but we're going to get through it. Ah, I see. In my index, my CSS is not properly linked. Super easy mistake to make. If I put a dot there, that should fix it. I hope. If it didn't, I'm going to cry. So if I now go to this link, it goes to the styles. Amazing, amazing, amazing. So now I just have to work out why is this not actually changing anything on our page. Let's go and debug it real quick inside container, inside my row, inside my column. Something's going on here. It's not liking it very much. I am extremely confused. Preposterous. It is preposterous. The spelling, I think, is correct. Let me just try a really basic one. Let's do body. Let's do paragraph. So all paragraphs on our page should have the color red. And this is really important. So override anything telling you not to do this is basically what this means. And it's still not working, you know? Interesting. So this is going this way around and this way. I forgot to tell our browser that this is a style sheet. So we need to say, hey, you know, this is not just linking to something. This is including our styles. That's why it's not working. Super easy as a developer to make typos. You know, if you're having problems, it's probably just because you made a typo. Super normal. So don't worry if that happens to you. For refresh, now this is all red, which means we can now go and do what we actually want to do. We can go and add a margin bottom to carousel. And then boom, we now have a little gap. Bazinga. See, typos really, really easy to make. Don't be afraid if you make one. You know, I once typoed the word blahage. I know it's a very, very difficult word to typo. It only has 1 Swedish character in it. You know, I had to apologize to blahage many times after making that mistake. But bazinga, I fixed it. Now my sidebar, I'm thinking we could do some cards. And I'm thinking one of those cards could be Ryan Swift's face. Just as a stock photo. I'm sure he won't mind me doing that. I'm sure he'll be entirely okay with me doing that. So Bootstrap has cards. They are an awesome way of including different bits of content on your website. And so let's go and copy this example card. And, again, another reason why Bootstrap's awesome is that, it has this massive library of stuff you can include. And so you're not having to go and write it all yourself. Imagine how long this would have all taken. I wouldn't be able to do this much in a 1-hour stream so far. It would have been basically impossible. Also, can we have a bazinga in chat for the word bazinga? Bazinga's a good word, right? We like bazinga? And we could do you could include the blahage zinga. Wow. Some info about who you are in your sidebar. In this example, we've just included Ryan Swift. And I'm going to kind of flag this as something you should edit. Let's go and get Ryan Swift. I'm going to go and grab him from the MLH Slack. Whoops, didn't mean to show that on stream. That was almost bad. I am fairly sure there's nothing on there which you're not allowed to see. Let me just double check real quick. Looks all good for you. So, if I go and I grab Ryan's avatar, we go and grab it. This is the wonderful Ryan Swift in cartoon form, and we're going to include him on our website. So let's go save. Let's go and put him in our repos, and then we want to go back to, this wonderful MLH Bootstrap Starter Kit. That's what we're building. Assets, images. I'm just going to call this Ryan dot I think it's a PNG. I have literally no idea. JPEG, cool. Bazinga. So next up, now we have done that, let's go and include this on our webpage. So we can say, hey, this image is coming from assets, /assets, images, ryan.jpg. And now on our website, if I come to here, we've got a little sidebar with a little card, which, if you were building this as your hack, you could go and say, hey, this is me. This is who created this. Pretty awesome, right? And then, we also might want to encourage people to put some links on their sidebar. That's a pretty good thing to include in a sidebar. Well, we don't want people just including some really ugly list of links, do we? We want to use the correct way of doing it. And in Bootstrap, the correct way of doing it is to go and use something called a button group. And we want them to use them like, oh, they've changed these since I last used them. Wow, these are entirely different. List group, sorry. We want to use a list group. And so let's go and include a list group on our sidebar so that we can go and link to some important things. And so, after I've got my card, let's go in and say, hey, well, first of all, let's comment it. Very important. We're going to say, hey, this is an example card. You could include one for you and your teammates. And then we can also say, you might want to include links in your sidebar too. And so let's go and throw in a list group. If I refresh this, you'll see here's a list group. We want to put a nice gap between them. And, we want to link to different things. Like, for example, BioBlahage is a good thing to link to. And, we do links in Bootstrap in the exact same way we'd expect. ahref equals and then this website. So that would be hackp.ac/blahage. We could go and do some other example ones, such as check into INIT. That would be a good one. Or check out INIT. Let's go try that one. So check out INIT. And that's hackp.ac, or let's do init.mlh.io. And then finally, one other link that might be worth including is possibly, original GitHub repo. So visit the GitHub repo. And that is at, if I can find it, it's on GitHub. There we go. Let's copy paste this. And these are just some example links. So now people can look at our website and be like, oh, that's how you include a link. Cool. And so you've got these nicely formatted links on the sidebar of our website. And then if we go and make this small, they're going to automatically go one on top of the other, which is really, really awesome. For you, that was a lot of starter pack building. But I feel if we gave this to someone, they would be able to take it and be like, hey, I don't necessarily understand all of this, but I have a pretty good idea. And, I think one more thing we should probably include on our starter kit is a example of a custom script. Someone might want to write their own JavaScript, and we want to make it really, really obvious where people should add it. And so let's go and put a thing here saying, you might want to include your own scripts too. We've included an example file with one in here. And so let's go and set that to be script source. Let's go and make in our assets folder. Assets just means all the different files we're going to include. We're going to go and make a, let's do assets and then a scripts or JS folder, I think. Why is it the one with song? I always forget to take the song out of the playlist for when I'm doing streaming because it's like super easy to not hear over me. So JavaScript, and it's going to be scripts.js. Then in here, we're going to go and do source equals, well, / assets, JS, scripts.js. And so I think I can also do this. No, script doesn't self-close, does it? So we can go and include an example script. And in JavaScript, how do you do comments? I think you do this, right? Yeah. Here's here's an example script. You can include anything you'd like to include on your webpage or website in here. And so let's give them an example, uncomment a script to have it run. And then let's just do a really, really basic script, which just says, alert, Ryan Swift smells of Lahage. And so now if I refresh my page, it's gonna pop up saying, hey, Ryan Swift smells of Lahage. And I press OK and the website loads. And we're gonna by default comment that out. But the reason we're including something like this is so that people understand, like, hey, this is where things like this go. You know, we want to be kind of like, this is where you put your scripts and this is how a script works. And we could even say uncomment, and we should say like, remove the, like let's explain what a comment is and how do we remove it. That's another really important part of teaching people. So cool. We have an example website. It's just one page. It's super, super simple. But I think anyone could go and pick this up and use it as a really basic starter kind of package. But this is a starter kit. So the two things I'm going to do first is push all my changes so far up to GitHub. So I'm going to say adding my changes. Obviously, you really should go and include better commit messages. These are all just example ones. You would never, ever include bad commit messages, right, friends? Promise? And now that's pushed, I can go check the GitHub repo. And, oh, let's actually do this in a new tab. And all of the changes I made are now here. But the cool thing about GitHub is because we're hosting this on GitHub pages, on GitHub, we can enable GitHub pages, which means I can say my main branch should be deployed to GitHub pages, which means if people now go to this website, it will let them see a preview, which is really cool. I just need to work out how do I actually go and publish this, because I've not done this in a while. It might take a little while. We'll give it a second. Environments, GitHub pages, deployed GitHub pages now. Cool. If I press view deployment, boom. So you can go and try out my website that I've created. You can see a preview at this link, which is really, really awesome because it means that I can go and actually go and write a README where I'm like, hey, if you want to see a preview, you can go and see one. So let's write a README. Now a README is a file where you explain how you set up your project. You explain what your project is for. You explain why it is awesome. And in my case, I'm going to say MLH INIT, Bootstrap Starter Kit, or Starter Pack, I think they're called. I'm going to say, this is my starter pack that helps people get started using Bootstrap. You can clone it, and it will give you a basic Bootstrap project that you can then use for a hackathon. Feel free to edit it as you need. And then we should be kind of like saying, hey, let's do, how do I use this? And let's explain, like, the way you use this is you should clone this repo or download it as a .zip file to your computer. If you download it as a zip, you'll need to uncompress it, like open it. So that's what we need to do. You can then open the folder in any code editor, including VS Code and Atom, and they're the main ones people use. So that's why I'm kind of calling these ones out specifically. And then I'm going to say, you know, another thing is there are lots of example files in this repo. Feel free to change or remove them. And then we also need to say useful links to get started. And let's like point them in the direction of useful things. So we're going to go and be like, see a preview of the website at that link. We want to link them to other useful resources such as Bootstrap's documentation. So you want to say, hey, check out Bootstrap's documentation. Oops. Can't spell today. Spelling is difficult, isn't it? And we're going to go and point them into getbootstrap.com. And is there any other useful links we all think we should be including here? I don't think there's really many. Let's give them like an intro to HTML as well. Let's do a kind of intro to HTML in case people haven't used it before. And we're going to go on W3 Schools HTML. So we can kind of go and point them in the right direction. Spelling is really difficult when you're under time pressure. Make mistakes all the time, super easy. How am I adding emojis on VS Code? Because I'm on a Mac, I can press function and it pops this up. On Windows, I think it's Windows key and dot, which will open it. I think, but yes. And so now, if I go and save this, I go and upload it to GitHub. So I go and push it up to GitHub, added a README. Let's go stage it, commit, push. Then, in my GitHub repository, I will now see when you visit the website, you're gonna get sent to this page. And the repository itself has all of these links, which I just added. Pretty awesome, right? So now I can go and click this intro to HTML. I can find this, preview of the website, and I can check out the documentation just by clicking on the link. And there we go. We have just built a starter pack. This was a really basic, really quickly built starter pack. I wanted to just build something really quickly just to show you how, challenges at INIT don't have to be some big weekend project. This is totally enough to submit and get the point. And so you should have already got 1 point from checking in using the link that is apparently on my screen sometimes, but not always. And then you get your other point for submitting your project to DevPost. This is a really important part of, INIT. Because if you don't submit your project to DevPost, Blaharsh is going to get sad. Look at him. You don't want to make this wonderful guy sad, do you? You don't want to be sad? And so this is why it's extremely important, now you remember, to go and submit your projects to INIT. Otherwise, he'll be upset. And we submit on DevPost. And this is a daily challenge. And so, we need to go and submit to, it's a daily challenge. So we need to go on the INIT website and we need to go and submit it. Before we do, Tony has a really interesting question. When should we build a website using Bootstrap instead of something like WordPress? So WordPress is a lot more kind of heavy. It's a content management system. So if you've got like a blog to manage or something, WordPress is probably better. You can actually use Bootstrap with WordPress. Whereas if you just want to have like a lightweight, quickly spin up responsive site, just basic HTML, Bootstrap, really, really good shout. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for long, TechNet. Super, super appreciate it. So let's go submit this to DevPost. And this is the same process you're following to submit and get your points. So we're going to go to devpost.com or init day 1 for DevPost. I'm going to put this in chat. If you're ever unsure of where to find for DevPost, you can just go to init.mlh.io, click the attend button, and then next to the day you're trying to submit to, like day 1 in this case, we have a DevPost button. It's going to take you to the right place automatically. Once you've done that, you are going to need to go and sign into DevPost. If you don't have an account, you should go and make one using the same email as you're using for the rest of INIT. And when submitting to DevPost, it asks for a video link. You don't need to go and include a video if you don't want to. The video link is optional. It's more for hackathons where it's like big projects. So I'm going to press join hackathon. I am working solo. MLH, I am a coach, did go and tell me about it. And, I did not make a DevPost account specifically for INIT. And, how did I hear about INIT? Mate, I'm a coach. You literally pay me to be here. Cool. And then my eligibility requirements. I am over 13 and I agree to be bound by these requirements. Cool. And so now I can go and create a project using this start project button. I need to go and just fill in this captcha. So let's check all the traffic lights off. Cool. And so first up, project name is let's do a INIT Bootstrap Starter Pack. And we can say get started using HTML and Bootstrap really quickly. Cool. And then after we've saved and continued, we're going to have to write some things up. So my inspiration, what was my inspiration? Ryan Swift was my inspiration. What does it do? It's a super simple starter kit that makes it easy to learn how to use Bootstrap. And you don't need to write a ton in here. Please don't just write 2 words. But, you know, it's not like in most hackathons. You know, you're submitting lots of dev posts this week. So feel free to just include like a sentence or 2 in each bit. How do we build it? Blood, sweat, tears, VS Code, Bootstrap, HTML, CSS, energy. Challenges you run into. Oh, whoops. Challenge you run into. Another one would be Jack keeps setting off Siri, because I just did that again just there. Accomplishments I'm proud of. I built it on stream. What we learned, spelling on stream is difficult. And what's next for it? Well, hopefully someone uses it, such as Blaharsh. Cool. And so now we've done that, we should probably go and include some things. So built with Bootstrap, let's say, you know, you should go and include the sensible thing. Try it out link. Well, I do have a Git repo, so let's go and link to the Git repo in my submission. And then project media, well, let's go and take a really simple screenshot of my website. So, go take a screenshot, and let's go and include it in here. And add a caption. Isn't Ryan the best creature on Earth? Wait, no, that's a shark. Cool. And then you're going to be asked for a video demo. You can leave this empty. You do not need to include a video demo for INIT. Hit save and continue. It's going to say, hey, this is really important. It's going to say, hey, which challenge are you tackling? And it's really important you choose the right challenge. In this case, I am doing the create a starter pack for someone else challenge. I'm going to hit save and continue then. I'm going to agree to these terms and conditions, and I'm going to submit my project. And I just went and got a beautiful point for Blaharsh gang. That is how easy it is to earn points here at INIT. You know, you can go and submit your projects, you can earn those points, and remember, whichever guild earns the most points are going to be declared the champions. So hey, if you want to be supporting your guild, get submitting. You know, you don't have long to submit this challenge. You have until 18 hours time to get it submitted. So definitely, you know, get on that as fast as you possibly can. And that's it. That's how easy it is during INIT to go and build your first project. You know, I built a starter pack on stream. You could build whatever you feel like, as long as it fits into one of the challenges, and earn points for your guild. You might notice I look quite tired. I've been on stream for like hours today, so bear with me, friends. But is there any questions people have about what we just did, or about INIT in general? Is anyone super confused at, you know, why did we do anything? You know, how does any of this work? Is anyone's mind exploding while you're doing that? You know, I would love it. Oh, I'm just dying. If you could tweet me at JackBiggin, at MLHacks, using hashtag MLHINIT. Feel free to go follow me on Twitter as well. The link is in chat right now. And I'm really glad some of you learned something new. That makes me really, really happy. Learning something new is the best part of INIT. So make sure, if you haven't already, you go and join a guild here at INIT. It's really, really important. Now, next up, you know, we're going to be taking a little break here on the stream after I finish answering your questions. But in a second, I'm going to be showing you where you can find the schedule for everything that we're doing this week. And a really good question is, you know, are we allowed to use resources and references from the internet on hackathons? Yep, you can absolutely use resources from the internet. That is totally allowed. No rules whatsoever regarding that. Just make sure you are crediting anything that you do use, and you don't just like steal someone else's project. Thank you for guiding. Oh, thank you. If you're looking to join a guild for local hack, no, not local hack day. This is a INIT. Joining a guild, you can do so at discord.mlh.io. Let me show you this real quick. So we go to discord.mlh.io. It's going to take you to a page after logging in. So I need to sign in with Discord. I can't do that on this browser session because my Discord account has 2FA. Let me just open this one, which can. So if I go to 2 secs, friends, I just need to go and do some magic so you'll be able to see it. Cool. So I go to discord.mlh.io and I log in with Discord. It's going to open a page that looks a bit like this. And then when you see this, you're just going to say, hey, you're not currently part of a guild, join one. So we're going to join one. I'm going to select Lahaj Gang, and then I'm going to hit submit. You obviously, wow, I broke it. Wonderful. So you might need to sign out and sign back in if it gets stuck. Looks like there's a little bit of a bug right now. That happens though. Cool. And it's going to say, hey, you're a member. Oh, whoops. Not screening my screen. Sorry about that, friends. So yeah, discord.mlh.io, edit profile, choose your guild, and then hit submit. Thank you for catching that. Sorry, it's been a very long day, friendos. And yeah, that is how you could join the guild of your choice. I obviously love Lahaj Gang, but you should join whichever guild you think is the best fit for you. And so yeah, that's how that works. If you did join a guild for local hack day, by the way, you will need to rejoin, just as a heads up, just something to be aware of. Technically, I'm not a member of Lahaj Gang, I do technically run it, but that's not the point. But yeah, that's it. That's local hack day. Let's go and take a look, not local hack day, INIT. Let's go take a look at init.mlh.io and see the full schedule of everything coming up for the rest of today. So I can click this, and then I can go and click schedule. And we can see, wow, there's so much happening. The next stream is going to be sketchful.io. And sketchful.io is going to be happening in about 2 hours and 20 minutes. And so, you know, I'm going to call it a day there. Is there anything else people want to ask questions about for INIT or anything at all before I hop off? Otherwise, I'll leave you with a beautiful holding screen for a couple of minutes, and then we'll call it a day. But yeah, thank you so much for coming, friends. It's been a really awesome session. You know, the first session of MLH INIT this year, and it's been really, really fun to see all of you. I'm going to go hang out with my guild. You should go hang out with your guilds as well after the stream. The link to rewatch the streams is here on Twitch, twitch.tv/MLH. As soon as I stop being live, you know, it'll get added to a VOD on the videos tab on Twitch. And how can you host your sites? I'd recommend Honey using something like GitHub Pages or Netlify, or even Replit, I think, can technically do it. Really, really, really good. So friends, that's it. I'm going to go and send you over to a promo. And in fact, no, I'm going to send you over to a video where we're going to show you some tips on how to succeed at a hackathon if you're a new hacker. And yeah, I'll see you in a bit. Thank you so much for coming along, and have a great time, friends. Going to your first ever hackathon can be a bit daunting, especially right now when the world is just a bit strange. Well, we went and asked some of our top community members what they've learned about digital hacking in the last 8 months, and this is what they said.
Hi everyone!
What's up everyone?
Hey newbie hacker.
Hi. Hey.
Hi hackers. Hello guys.
I'm Carmen and I'm currently a hack app coordinator at NW+.
I'm Ravis Ghosh and I'm a hacker and mentor.
I'm Kyle and I'm a hacker in California.
My name is Johnny, one of the coach-hosts for Are You Hacks 2021.
I'm Nathan Dimmer, an MLH Top 50 hacker and hackathon mentor.
I'm Shubham Patel, a hacker, a mentor from India.
It's Surya from Major League Hacking, and here are some of my tips for first-time hackers.
Figure out what makes your idea cool at the very beginning of a hackathon, and focus on the features you need to bring your idea into reality.
Use those interests to your advantage. The more interested you are in a project, the more success it typically has.
Talk to the mentors, honestly. Just make use of that. You can even make a friend or two, maybe some connections, you never know.
Find a team to work with. That means don't be afraid to message random people in Discord. Find people that have similar interests to you.
Many people believe that you have to build the next Amazon or Facebook, but that isn't the case. If you're unsure on what to make, then I suggest building something related to one of your interests or hobbies.
There are resources that you can use if you're experiencing problems with your code or if you have technical difficulties.
Remember to get some sleep and just stay healthy, like get a carrot or something.
Attend the opening ceremony and prize categories are announced.
Try to interact with the community as much as possible.
Make sure that you are mindful of the time zone differences so you don't accidentally miss your project deadline.
Give yourself plenty of time to make your demo video. It's where you get to show off all of your amazing work from the hackathon.
Make sure that you sign up and go to anything that you are interested in, because you never know what you might find interesting and you'll learn a lot.
At the end of the day, the main goal is to have fun. Don't get too sucked into your project. There are a bunch of mini events and workshops that you can attend as well.
And this is all from me. Thank you so much for listening and stay safe. Bye now!
Not signed up for your first digital hackathon yet? Just head over to mlh.io for all of the hackathons you can go to. Rhyming's hard, but hacking doesn't have to be.